Hey guys, man, my Styles, aka Styles, baby look, aka Monte Merlot, Styles, Malback, Quarantine, some Styles, Styles are out like blah, fallback, you know that one time is one time, particular Styles, one time, Sock Daddy, Audio Side, no cap motherfucking files. And my lovely guest will hear all that in post and shit, because right now she's like, what the hell did I sign on for? Man, it's been a minute, guys. It's been a minute since, well, as y'all know, I keep reiterating this. It's been a bi-weekly podcast for the last couple weeks because sanity is important to all of us, and can't do this week all the time. It's a lot of work. Y'all understand? Y'all not here, so. But I will say that to say this is a new guest that we have on the show. It's been I'm trying to think when the last time we've had a new guest because this is really Monty Styles and Friends. This is my home. It's my boo. This is where I rest my head. I need to trust people in my house. So, and I mean, I would definitely welcome this guest will open arms into my home, because I just feel the vibe is the vibe. But she's all the way across the country in a little place called Arizona, a red ass state at the moment. But she's here. I get the vibes that she's not she didn't attribute to the red or country.
Please don't hold it against me. Please don't hold it against me.
Not at all, not at all. But y'all know my name, man. But I have a brand new guest, and she go by the name of
Divine.
Divine. Say the whole thing.
Divine Valentine.
Yeah, say the whole thing like you mean it. Welcome. Appreciate you. Appreciate your time. Appreciate you taking the time. We've had some little technical difficulties and backgrounds because computers compute, as Cameron used to say. And but yeah, man, thank you for being here, man. Appreciate your time for real.
Thank you.
Thank you for saying yes to do this. Like, we are strangers. We don't know each other from a can of paint, but I pick up on energy, and the energy is good, and she's always interacting with people on Instagram, and we'll get into some other things. Please, if there's anything that you do not want me to talk about, let me know. Because I am an open book and I share things. My girlfriend knows a lot, so there's never no harm, no foul. But she moisturizes. I'll say that part.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
As you should, because you have some ashy, dry ass motherfuckers out here. We don't need that in the streets. It's too late for that. But welcome. Tell us about yourself. Introduce yourself to the People Talking podcast, guys. It's Sunday. It's not early, but had a late night. So, forgive me. But introduce yourself to the pod, man. Let people know who you are, what you about.
So my name is Divine. I am originally from the Bronx, New York. I've been living out in Arizona for over 20 years. People try to have me claim Arizona as my home, but New York is in my heart.
I know that feeling.
I can go all the way back, but I have been a performer since I was probably 9 years old, and didn't actually start performing my own personal work, which is poetry, to begin with. I was about 17, 18 years old. And then I started having my babies. I have 4 beautiful boys. They range from 25 to 9. And
wow.
Since then, I've been, performing, hosting, writing, lots of writing, and just living, you know what I mean? And then connecting with the right people along the way. So that's really me. I'm a full artist at heart, for sure.
25 to 9. Mm-hmm. Break it down. What is it? Give me all the
So ages. I have my 25-year-old. I have twins that are 17.
Twins,
and then I have the baby that's 9.
Yeah, twins that are 17. And forgive me for asking. You could, like I said, stop me when you want to stop me.
No, it's
How
okay.
old were you when you had the 17-year-old twins? I'm trying to do the math.
Okay, so I could do that, or I can just tell you how old I am.
I mean, I mean, sure, you could do that, and I'll do the math in my head.
I mean, I just turned 48 in August.
Okay. That's easy.
So I had him around 20 something years old, 21, 22.
All right, not too. I mean, it's young, but not too young. Were you stressed?
Yeah. No. I grew up around kids. The woman that raised me, I have my parents. I've lived with both my parents all my life.
Right.
But the woman that raised me when my parents were working, because they were always working a lot, she was a foster mom. So I was around children all the time. So when I had my kids, I was not. It was like something I felt like I was born to do.
Okay.
I was born to have children.
All
Yeah.
right.
So I wasn't stressed. I was very excited. I wanted a girl. I'll tell you that.
So 2 boys.
4 boys.
Oh, 4, but the twins are okay. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did you keep going because you wanted a girl, or you were just like, this is just
No.
life?
So my boys are 8 years apart. So every time, like my oldest turned 7, I was like, okay, if I'm not pregnant by the time he's this age, I'm not having no more. And then I get pregnant, and then I had the twins, and then
Yeah.
So it wasn't to have my girl, but I really thought that my last child was going to be a girl, because for some weird reason I thought I was on my mother's same cycle, because I'm the youngest of 4, and I'm the only girl, and I have to, so I have 3 older brothers. So I was like, oh, I got my 3 boys, I'm going to have my girl. And then my youngest came out, and I was like, okay, well then I'm done. I'm not. If another boy pop out of here, I'm done.
You sound like my friend. I asked that. I mean, for a couple of reasons. I'm an only child, so I guess I asked that because I'm a little fascinated sometimes to hear about the just multiple children together at the same time. And one of my best friends, he has 3 and all boys. He's a strong man. And I there's not so much talk about it, but like I know he was like, once he hit 3, he's like, I'm done. I don't. It's over. I know you want a girl, but it's not happening. Not with me, at least.
It's funny because now when I run into people who, let's say, have 5 children, I'm like, wow, you got 5 kids, and I'm thinking, hold on, Divine, you got 4. You only needed 1 more. You know what I'm saying?
True. You need one more for that starting lineup.
Yeah, I know.
Well, welcome, Divine.
They're definitely my soldiers.
Welcome. Thank you for being open and honest, and telling your stories. We have a lot of stories to get to. Let's start off with the easy stuff. There was a fight. I guess you could call it that. Did you check in on this Mike Tyson, Jake Paul? Did you see clips? Did you watch the thing? What happened?
So here's the deal. When I first heard that they were gonna fight, I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, that's a done deal. Mike is a definite win. It's a done deal. But then it stopped because he got into like a health issue, right?
Scare,
past summer. And I was like, okay, cool. Maybe the fight won't happen at all,
Were you relieved when you heard that part? Were you relieved when you like, maybe the fight's not gonna happen?
I was, because I was like, he's older.
Yes.
Like, leave the man alone. Like,
right, leave the man alone.
Like, let him be, you know. And then I said, then when it picked up again, I was like, now I'm concerned. Now I'm concerned. But then I was very disappointed in it, because I felt like, and I know this is probably not wanting to be serious, but I have to get serious for a second.
Oh no, please. This is a People Talking podcast. This is a very wide ranging show. We talk about
when I was growing up, boxing was very, very serious sport.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And you didn't see, when I was growing up, you didn't see women boxers until I actually saw Muhammad Ali's daughter.
Yeah.
Right. So it was a very serious sport growing up. When this fight happened, first of all, I was like, I don't want to get a phone call from anybody while this fight is going on. Thanks. I didn't watch it. I focused on other things until the next morning when I saw the clips, and I was disappointed, and I felt like they were making boxing a circus.
He's making boxing a circus. Jake Paul.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That was the part for me. I was just disappointed. Yeah.
All right. I listen. I like the breakdown you gave. That's an umbrella of everything that really happened. I'll let you know. I mean, it was a 5-hour day. It was a 5-hour night. Excuse me. I wasn't gonna have a big party or anything like that, but I'm like, this is happening. Happy it's a Friday, so I don't gotta worry about wasting a weekend. Like, it's Friday night. Let's check it out real quick. I don't know what we really thought I mean, I'm 36 years old. You
Hmm.
know, so my youngest Tyson fight is probably the first time he bit Evander. Like that's probably the one I remember,
Right.
being there for it. I remember watching Lennox Lewis fight and stuff like that. And Lennox Lewis did not look like Lennox Lewis on that screen either. That, by the way, that was
Hmm.
kind of wild. Cause I watched this whole thing. I brought my man over. We sat down, got some wings, chilled out. He was there early because he's prompt, unlike myself. And we sat there, chilled out. There were 3 matches before this Tyson Paul fight
Hmm.
took place. The first match was a joke. Like it was 6 2-minute rounds. The boys looked like I could beat them. Like it wasn't. It was not like
Wow.
they were flabby. It was not really. I think one said he was in a Indian movie RRR that came out a couple years ago, and it was hilarious. Like he ended up like humping him in the corner, which is weird. He turned him around and just like started humping him in the corner, and like they
No.
dapped each other at the end. I'm like, what's happening? Rosie Perez was commentating the whole night, and I want her to commentate everything because she sounded great. Big New York energy. It felt nice. The
Hmm.
guy that was it was her, Roy Jones, who looked like he just woke up, and
Mm.
some guy next to her that was on her body. Like he was
Mm.
loving everything about her. So I'm like, so you're gonna do the right thing, huh? And it's like, all
Mm.
right, man, relax, white
Right.
man. And but it was a cool. And Cedric Entertainer was there for some reason. I don't know why. And yeah, the first fight was a joke. The second fight was got pretty good.
Okay.
Two Mexicans fighting.
Okay.
It's gonna be a time. So they fight. It's gonna be bloody. They're gonna fight. It's gonna be real. They knocked each other down. It was a good fight. Great love. And the third fight was the fight. It wasn't even about Tyson, and I could care less about Tyson and Jake
Was
Paul.
that the two women that were
Yes,
fighting?
yes.
Okay.
Amanda
Okay.
Serrano and Katie Taylor, I believe,
Right.
who
Hmm.
headbutted the shit at her every 2 seconds. Like it was,
That's what I heard.
it was
Yeah.
bad. Like I had to rewatch it. Like you sound like my mom saying, talking about like women fighting and stuff like that. Like she don't like to watch them fight because she know they gonna fight. Like women fight.
Sure.
I feel like women just
Exactly.
fight a lot more than men fight sometimes. Like they gonna
Mm.
fight, and they were fighting. This is the second time. This is the sequel to the series, whatever. So my political brain says, hey, Katie won the first one. If it's a good fight, just give it to Amanda,
Right.
the Boricua, and
Right.
we'll get a third one. Like that's how money works,
Right.
So and she won that fight despite the headbutt. Despite she had like an eye on top of her eye. That's how big.
Mm.
That's how big
Mm.
the cut
Mm.
was. It was like the maybe fourth or fifth round that happened. It went 10 rounds. They add
Damn.
the referee asked for a doctor. The the trainer came over there. He's like, no, I need a doctor, not the trainer. Like, get the doctor. Let's see what's going on. She said, can you fight? You still fight? Yeah,
Sure.
she gonna fight. And at the end, fast forward, she's like, I'm gonna put Boricua. I'm gonna die in the ring. I don't care. Like this is what it
Mm.
is.
Wow.
Um, and I just this is the one day I'm talking to Devine.
It's all right.
So, Divine. Why did I say Devine? Divine, Divine or Devine? What are we doing?
That's what they say.
Because it's the
That's
last.
what they say.
Because it's the
I'm like,
last.
where you get the weed
It's
from?
the last name. You hear Valentine. You want to. It's just like a simple rhyme.
It's
Divine.
a yeah, yeah.
Divine, fine like wine. Divine. I got to keep the rhyme scheme. So that the referee called for that, but like I just love that this is like the one time you could watch something and nobody's media trained whatsoever. They
Mm.
gonna say how they
Mm.
feel. They talked to the trainer like during the fight, Serrano's trainer, and he's like, "Yo, man, she headbutting the fuck out of her. Like, there's no, it's straight to the point." And
Sure.
and she led with her head. She was fast. She could fight. She was fast. They was both punching. They both landed. She landed like 200 more punches than this other girl, Serrano. And she got robbed. She lost the fight. They gave it to Katie.
Damn.
Katie is it was Irish, Puerto Rican. It was Katie was Irish. You know what she was saying. She said her piece. They brought it to the Puerto Rican, and she said her piece like, "Yo, man, she headbutted me. Like, of course, I got blood in the eye." And I love that everybody goes. You've been watching boxing, I'm sure, a good chunk of your life. Like, you remember Larry Merchant?
Yes.
And everybody takes the pages out of Larry Merchant, like, talk that shit, get straight to the point.
Right.
How are you feeling when he punched you in the fucking eye? You know?
Right.
So the guy up there, he's using that kind of thing. He's like, yeah, man, you got blood in the eye. Like, how did it feel? And she's like, man, anytime you get blood in the eye, it's gonna hurt. Like, it messes up your game. And she kept headbutting me, and but she's not the first one. This happened to the last fight, and she was throwing her in the bus. She do this, and I'm like, wow, okay, I'm happy that you giving it up like that. Trainer came in, he's like, man, yo, Kate is a great fighter. She's a beautiful person with a big fucking head. That's verbatim what he said. So that was the best part of the night. I'm like, and it was a fight. That was a fight worth watching. It's worth watching again.
That was before Tyson.
That was right before Tyson. Yeah.
Okay.
And my man was here. We were chilling. We had some coffee because it was late. It was at that point. It was like late. Netflix was buffering like a motherfucker, and none of us was here for that. Excuse my cursing. And
no, you're fine.
We're watching it. And I'm like, man, we need some coffee. Let's get a little drinks in us, and because he heard we'll start in 30 minutes, and like I ain't hear that, but he heard that, and I'm like, nah, they gonna fight. They gonna start in a minute, and like so many little things they were tricking us. I'm like, yo, 30 minutes went by before this. It's like midnight now.
Wow.
We're here for 5 hours.
And that's considered the main event fight.
Yes,
correct?
yes.
Okay.
And so you're gonna wait. So I mean, like I get it, but I mean, listen, to fast forward to the actual fight. Oh, right before the fight, his Mike Tyson's son is interviewing him. I don't know if you saw this clip going around. Mike Tyson's son is interviewing him. I forget his name. He says, "Dad, how you feel about the fight?" Blah blah. Real quick, like maybe 30-second interview. He's like, "Man, just vicious win. I'm a fight. This is what's gonna be." And he kissed him on the cheek, like, love you, son, love you, dad. Blah blah. He turns around, ass is out.
Okay, I saw that. And here's my part. That is exactly the moment.
Yes.
That I promise you, that is the exact moment when I felt like
it's over.
This has been like belittled. This is now a circus to me. Like, damn. And I hate to say that, but that's exactly how I felt.
If
like, what was the point of that?
That was
what are we doing?
In hindsight, I'm like, that's the moment we should have all known it was about to be some bullshit. Because, dog, why is your whole ass out right now in front of your son? My man was like,
because you could. That's how I see it. You did it because you could. Like, come on.
My man was like, yo, he looked good. He in shape, but that ass is every bit of 58 though. Like that ass that's a flabby ass. So. You ain't toning that up. You toning your neck up, not that ass. But he goes out there and listen, hindsight's so 20/20, but like you just pick up on little things the second time you watch stuff around. Nobody I don't think anybody wanted Jake Paul to win this fight. Like even there, nobody dog, like we talking about Tyson. Like let's not disrespect this man's name. He's always gonna ring bells. If Ali was here in his prime, he'd be scared to fight Mike Tyson. Like that's just kind of how we've all known him to be. It's 2-second fights that this man has had, and I think his record's like 55-6, something like that, 44 knockouts. Jake Paul has less than 20 fights altogether, and you're adding people that are not even fighters. You remember Nate Robinson?
No.
The New York Knicks basketball player. He knocked him out. That's a fight for him. He's not a boxer. Go ahead.
Not to even cut you off on any of that. My whole thing was that I felt like it was just if they really went into it as a real fight, Jake Paul be in the hospital.
Yes.
That's how I see it.
Yes.
Mike only got to get you once.
And that's all it is. That's all it is.
He only got to get you once. And I'm gonna tell you, you saw the slap? Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point, I was like, oh, we're not playing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's about to be something.
Yeah.
And then it was nothing.
The other side of that, though, is like, you still got to play it up for the, for the fans and stuff like that. Like,
okay.
That's the part that kind of superpowers That's the part that kind of hurts of just like knowing like, okay, this could be real, this could be staged.
Sure.
Tyson's getting 20 million regardless.
Sure.
Jake Paul's getting 40 million regardless. Like,
Which is crazy.
which is already crazy. You know, you making me get out of bed. Like, what are you
For
doing?
real.
Like, I'm the person that's making you this money. You know,
Yeah.
just by being there. So
Yeah.
So nobody went. You could tell like Jake coming down the long ass ramp. By the way, coming down the ramp. You know, the ramp got a right angle in it. I'm like, I ain't never see a ramp this long. And he got his car in there. He's playing I Could Feel It.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And I'm like, hindsight 2020. I'm thinking to myself, why is he playing that song?
Right.
And I mean, this could not be it, but I'm pretty sure this boy is 27 years old. His I have a lot more memory than he does. Like he knows what he knows. I almost don't even think he's seen a Tyson fight the way that he's been talking about it. So,
right.
But I remember Hangover, and I'm sure he does too. The movie Hangover, and I don't know if you've seen that movie before. You know, like I
have seen it before.
When he punched Zach out when he punched him out, what song was playing? I can feel it come, and I'm like, you playing right now, you playing. You know, him and his brother in the car. They get out the car, walk up to the ramp. Nobody, and it's so many people. It's Dallas Stadium. Jerry Jones need the money. So
Dallas Stadium.
Yeah, this is I guess it's in Arlington, Texas, but AT&T Stadium where the Cowboys play. The Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders are out there. You know, Shaq is out there. Apparently, he lives in Dallas, and apparently he wants to fight Gronk next too, whatever. Which that would be fun to watch. But Jerry, 82-year-old Jerry Jones is a whole nother story. But he's there. You know, it's such a big stadium. Everybody's there, but you don't hear a lot of Jake. Like it's very quiet. Mike come out, you hear them. You know, and Mike come out, and I don't know if you let me know. You know, has Mike always come out by himself?
No.
Like I mean, like not like a performer or anything like that. Like I mean, he might have like people in the back.
When I remember Mike coming out, but he would have all his people with him
in the back.
I don't remember him.
Yeah,
right.
But like he didn't have like a Lil Wayne performer like being next to you. Like it's never gaudy. It
was not like a performance.
Yeah, it's not flashy.
Right.
And so he stuck with that. Had his his garb on, whatever. Came out to, and I'm a music. I guess when I'm 36 years old, I can say this now. I'm a music aficionado in my own right.
Okay.
You could barely hear it because of all the noise, but he came out to Murdergram, Jay-Z, Ja Rule, DMX, and I'm like, that's a good choice. Murdergram, like that's on your mind. His whole face is just like, I'm gonna kill you.
Okay. Okay.
Even before that, did you see the little interview he did with the girl, Jazzy, the little girl?
No.
She'd been interviewing people like she was like since 5 years old. Like you probably seen her. She's always just very upbeat.
Yes.
She's older now. She's interviewed him before. Interviewing her, and it just was he's still a man. He's still Mike at the end of the day. Don't matter who's talking to you. He gonna talk to you how you talk, whatever. And he's just like, she's like, so what about like your legacy and how do you feel and what's going on? She's all bubbly and he's like, who gives a fuck about legacy? There's no legacy. You're dead. I don't care. You're dead. You die. It's over. Now hindsight 2020, like I said, like you go back and like, okay, Mike almost lost his life, a couple months ago.
Sure.
He lost his daughter in 2009, to a freak treadmill accident. He's going through a lot of stuff, and I'm like, he probably low key don't want to really. He don't care no more,
For real.
So, but all that just kind of, and like, she said like, wow, I never heard that answer before. Like she jumped right back to it. It's like, yeah, it's like you die. Who cares? Like, who cares? Your legacy. What's the legacy? It's just it's a word's ego. It's a word that people made up and just hold on to it.
Wow.
So his mindset was, it felt like, okay, you might really fight this man.
Sure.
That's how I took it anyway. But then we get the assless chaps. We get all that. We don't know what's going on. So, but he goes up there, Murdergram by himself. Dolo gets in the ring. Now, 2-minute rounds. Already feels like, them? Yeah, already feels like a setup.
Okay.
Matter of fact, was it 10 or it might have been 8?
Okay.
It was eight 2-minute rounds.
The way it was described to me was as if they were playing patty cake with each other.
Okay, so you didn't see the whole fight. You just saw some of the things, whatever. But like, so the first 2 rounds, Mike had,
Okay.
but you could tell that he was getting gassed. He was getting tired.
Okay.
And the thing is, like, Jake is 31 years younger than this man. Let's start there.
Sure.
Jake is, I think he had 5 more inches of reach on him.
Okay.
You know, we all know him like that. But in looking at Mike's prime, you know, it don't matter how long you are, how tall you are, he gonna get in there.
No, for sure.
Some kind of way. You know,
For
he's
sure.
moving that neck around. But Jake, and I think the first, and you look at the little slow motions, you could see Jake was scared in the first 2 rounds. Like, he was like, I didn't realize what I got myself into. Like, he is, because Mike is moving too fast for, like, you know, he get up on you, but, and there's a couple, and like, you know, you're gonna hug somebody when you're scared, you know, so there's a couple of hugs.
Yeah.
But, and there's a couple, I'll send it to you, but there's a couple, like, pullaways that, I mean, you could look at it in the way of, like, you know, maybe it's a stage and Mike is like, it could have been done already. But there's like 2 times where he got really close. I'm like, dog, if he connects right there, it is over. So
it's over.
But after the second round, it's like Mike was a little tired. He had a knee brace. He kept biting his glove. That was kind of weird, but apparently he does that.
Really? That's what I heard too.
He kept biting his glove and messing with his mouthpiece. Roy Jones is a hater as a commentator. He's like, I don't like his legs. His legs ain't looking. The first 2 minutes, he was like, I don't like his legs. I'm like, he even started boxing yet. But Mike still had that. I think Jake felt his power in the first 2 rounds, and he's like, "I'm gonna jab you, step away." And you know, Jake got ego too. I think he did want to knock him out, but he's like, if I miss, it's a problem because if I get close and miss, he's gonna connect, and it's over, and I'm gonna have brain damage, and I'm not ready for that. I'm a young man, so
and then we ain't going to 8 rounds if that's the case.
No. Yeah, no. So I that's the part that kind of made like maybe if it was 3 rounds, 12, maybe if it was 3 minute 12 rounds, maybe a little different. I don't know. I can't. They did say Mike elected to have 2-minute rounds, and you know, which could be very true given his age.
Sure.
I could also see that being a protection for Jake. You know, so I don't know.
So here was my observation of it.
Please.
Without really going too far into it. Mike, on so many other interviews, Mike shows this, you know, this. Now I don't know if I want to say Zen, but he shows this transformation.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
From being this bulldog to kind of like
he's at a happier place
for what they are. You know what I'm saying, and all of that. So when the idea of the fight was coming on, I was like, especially the second time, I thought to myself, but he's too grounded.
Yeah.
To really give this kid what he could really give this kid. You feel me? So in a way, the way the fight came out, I'm almost not shocked. But then I'm like, well, then what's the point? Like, why even put yourself out there if you're really not gonna? Because that's how we see you.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
I guess that's the bigger thing is like, what's the point? And
right.
I think that's what we're trying to figure out. I'm like, though, you don't need $20 million like that. What's the
no, for real?
What's the point?
And even if you needed it, the matchup was unfair.
Yeah.
It wasn't an even matchup for me. So that's why I was like, well, even if you needed the money and wanted to fight, the matchup was not fair.
But what you saying that and the whole, you know, we see him as grounded and just the Zen person, this transformation, he's a little jovial at times. You know, like this, people that follow Tyson have seen him going to the, I forget the name of his podcast, but like the podcasting days and just his transformation is kind of like just I'm at peace, I'm chill.
Sure.
He's speaking wisdom. People are quoting him. Sure. Like, you know, it's a different. The one man show was years ago, but like, you know, he's moved on from that persona. So I guess it's kind of why my mind changed, because watching it, I'm like, oh, you're in mode. Like, this is a different person from what I've seen the last couple of years. So maybe the switch is on, but I don't know. It's hard to tell what's truth. You know,
I know
there's a lot of factors at play. The fact that he lost so much, and as far as people and things in his life and his health concerns, you know, but also it's like, is it a stage for another one? Like, because they asked him at the end, like, are you done? Are you gonna be? Is this it? He's like, I don't know. I don't know, like
Yeah.
depending on the situation. And I'm like, that just sounds like money talking, you know. And he's
Mm.
like, who do you want to fight? He's like, I'll fight Logan, Jake's brother. Is like, and this is
Mm-hmm.
where, you know, I guess as a black man for sure, I don't want you to disrespect our legends. And
Right.
even if it's staged, I don't care. Like Logan saying, you know, he's
Right.
like, I'll fight Logan. Logan's right there in the ring. He's like, I'll fucking kill you, Mike. I was like, dog, you don't got no right to even say those words to him, ever.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a YouTuber wrestler. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's not it. Don't even talk about Mike like that, man. So I mean, but
That's right.
Mike put himself in position to talk to people talk like him like this. So I don't
To be
understand what's
spoke. Yeah,
real,
for sure.
you know. So I
For
don't know.
sure.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't. I just said I know. I went to Facebook. I was like, Mike, don't do that again. Like, don't
Yeah.
just stop. Just stop. We love you, and
Yeah. Just
unfortunately,
let it go. Yeah. Just let it
it don't
go.
matter how many times he loses. His name is always gonna ring bells because our memories are gonna be like, you know, that Evander Holyfield, that Lennox Lewis, that, you know, Buster Douglas, like that. We gonna think about those times and always be like, yo, that's
Mm-hmm.
Mike Tyson. To this
Mm-hmm.
day, it don't matter who you are. You still don't want to get hit by Mike Tyson. Like, it don't matter, you know.
No, for sure. For sure. That's why when I saw the slap,
Yeah,
I said, oh, it's on. You know
yeah.
what I'm
He's quick.
saying? I
He's
was like,
quick.
he's not playing. Like he's reflected, his reflexes is real. It's all of that, this and the other. And then when I heard, I was just like,
And now this clown
oh,
of
he could have just stayed home. He could have
he could
just
have just
stayed
stayed home
home.
in his bed, comfortable, sleep. And now, you know, we got this clown Jake Paul saying, you know, who you want to fight next? He said Canelo. I'm like, dog, what are we doing? You can't fight Canelo Alvarez.
um, the other part too, they had an interview together, and I noticed that Jake Paul was like real big
Yeah, he's
from
big.
a previous interview he had done earlier in the year, and I was like, "Oh, you getting ready?" Because in my mind, the fight was for real in my mind.
In your
So I
mind.
was like, "Oh, you getting ready?" Because you know what you're about to. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're about to be in the ring with.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
All of that puffer.
I don't know what's real or not. I just know Netflix. I'm happy because it was no Netflix because, you know, I guess it's not free. We still paying for Netflix, but like it was freer
Yeah,
than the
yeah.
pay per view.
They're not stupid. That's for sure. They're not
No.
stupid.
And like I'm downstairs in the basement on the projector. I'm like, I'm just got the lights lit. I'm ready for the antics. And
Mm-hmm.
Netflix took the biggest L because it kept buffering. It kept like slowing down.
Did
It
it?
kept stopping. I had to keep coming in and out just
They
to.
wasn't ready.
Yeah, they wasn't
They
ready for
wasn't
that
ready.
traffic.
No.
That traffic was too much
Not
for
at
them.
all.
They didn't know that, like, yo,
Yeah.
everybody's. I just went to my man's my godson's soccer game yesterday. Everybody talking about the fight.
Mm-hmm.
Black, white,
Right.
Hispanic, everybody talking about the fight. You know, so
I said, I was telling a friend of mine, it's like, if people are in relationships, you could forget it because everybody's gonna be watching that. Nobody's gonna be paid attention to on Friday.
my girl would have had she don't love sports, but she would have had a good time watching it. But, you know, thankfully it was Friday and she was tired, so she was asleep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
she was like, enjoy your boys' night. And I'm like, cool. We gonna be down here
Yeah.
chilling. So all I heard her say was woo woo, but I'm like, all them woos are for the Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor fight. That was the fight. That
Right.
was the fight. That
Wow.
and I think I think Jake Paul has something to do with that. Like I think he has some kind of business that he owns that is back in Serrano. So I don't so he wins
Is that right?
regardless.
Mm.
You know.
Mm.
Speaking of winning though, Grammy nominations.
I'm gonna be honest, your girl don't have a clue.
Do you listen to music?
I do,
Or do you
yes.
just skim
Okay,
through it?
go ahead. Yes, I listen to music. Yes, that I do. That I do.
I mean, listen. The Grammys is the Grammys. Like, nobody.
Yeah.
We know what's real and what's fake. Like, we know what's a
Okay.
big up and what, you know. We know what's up. We know that Amanda Serrano won that fight. We don't care who they ring the
Yeah,
bell
for
for. Like,
sure.
so we know, like, the Grammys is the Grammys. Nominees for the I'll talk to things that me and you probably would even care about.
Okay.
How do you feel about Beyonce? First of all, let's see how you are, because some people are bipolar some people are bipolar with Beyonce. I don't know if that's the right word, but just like, you know, it's a polar effect. They either feel it or they like, you know, she's overrated. I ain't with it. What's your feeling of Beyonce Noel's?
I personally do not see her as the hype that she's portrayed to be.
You wouldn't put her
I
in the
don't see
same.
her
You
that
wouldn't put
way.
her in the
I'm not
same
a
boat.
I'm not a fan. She has her singles, she has her moments for me,
Yeah.
but I'm definitely not a part of her beehive or whatever that is.
I mean, you could love her and not be a part of the Beehive.
I'm not I'm not a Beyonce fan at all.
Say it with your chest.
At all.
It's all good.
Yeah, at all. I'm just
You're
not.
not.
I
You're
mean,
not
like
the
I
only
said,
one.
there's some of her music I could vibe with. Some of it just depends on what type of mood I'm in. But I'm not one to be like, oh, throw on Beyonce or she's in concert and I'm gonna spend my last dollar on her type thing. Nah.
Now you're saying that about her, not the fans, correct?
Yeah, about her.
Cause I
correct.
feel like people's fans could like sway people's opinions. Like, ah, man, I ain't with all that. So
Yeah.
I
No,
get
no, no.
you're not the only
The
one.
artist.
I have friends that feel the same way. So you're not the only one. But she is
Sure.
up for the album of the year for Cowboy Carter, which was like her country album.
Oh, the country album.
Which was a beautiful
Okay.
album. I listened to it like once or twice. Like again, maybe not my ministry, but like
Okay.
I'm like I could tell beautiful music when I hear it. I'm like, this is beautiful music. Like
Okay.
I'm not even a Miley Cyrus fan, but she killed it on that. I'm like, this is a good, not a Post Malone fan. He was on there. I'm like, this is a good album. So I'm not mad
Okay.
at it. What I am mad at is New Blue Sun, the Andre 3000 album, which nobody wanted to hear that shit. I'm sorry, Andre. We love you. We love you for rapping and for being and for Outkast. We love that you want to experiment and love jazz. I love jazz like you. We don't want to hear a whole flute album, and I feel like that's a general consensus. Unless you're the one that says that's my shit.
Okay, I have a couple of things to say to that.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go.
Your face was talking,
This
so I had
for
to.
me, this for me is about putting people in a box and not being open to their evolution. That's me.
Kind of.
I didn't mind the Flu album. I didn't mind it. But what I'm not okay with is maybe an idea that he's not going to rap again or that he's not going to come out with an album, a rap album. That part might, not sit right with me. I don't mind
he's doing that.
You feel like you're, huh?
I say he's making you feel that way, that he won't rap again. Not anybody else. He's saying I don't got nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I don't want people in the box either.
That.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, and so that part of it, I think that this is all for me. This is just me looking out, looking in.
Yeah,
is a phase. You know what I'm saying? Because for you to say you don't have anything to talk about, and that's not even true, because maybe he felt like his conversation was through Flu.
Yeah, I don't know,
and maybe we just didn't vibe with that.
I don't know how far he went. I know you're in AZ. I'm like right next to. I'm 15 minutes away from Pennsylvania, right next to Philly. So, there's a time where Andre was walking around with the flute. You could catch him in Philly. You could catch him just walking around South Street. You could catch him in Franklin Mall. Like you could catch him around just like playing the flute. So he's been practicing this. He's been journeying. This has been his journey. So the album is not a surprise. Like I understand you.
Okay.
Riding stuff out. Listen, even Michael Jordan played baseball. Like we understand you're gonna try some different things. Do I want to remember Michael Jordan from baseball?
Right. No, that's
so.
True. That's true.
I understand getting outside the box and doing your thing.
Sure.
And maybe I'm speaking very bluntly and candidly, whatever. But keep that shit in the closet. Like I don't. You could do that. You could do that at home the same way that who was it? J. Cole. The same way J. Cole did his diss record and then took it away because he felt bad about it. You could have laid that track down and let it sit in your damn studio. You need to put that out to the world. You got gassed up, and I mean Andre, I don't believe he's gassed up. He was just a Roots picnic. The jokes are gonna be had. I feel like heroin music. Like the jokes are there. We're gonna be nodding off. Tying the ropes off. Like it's you know, we love you. We still love you. You know, but
Sure.
and it's not even about honor at this point. Album of the year is crazy.
Well, that's a little bananas. That's a little bananas.
A
Yeah,
nomination
no,
for
yeah.
album of the year is crazy. You know, and I mean, some people are like, man, Beyonce may run away with this one. So you know, because she has famously have not won album of the year at the Grammys. You know, Jay-Z has made it very known last year, like, yo, all we ask for you to do is get it right sometimes. Like not all the time, but like this is kind of absurd. Like, who won it last time? Beck or for somebody else? I forget who. Harry Styles is like, dog. Come, even Adele is like, no, that's Beyonce. Like, you tripping.
Sure.
So,
sure.
But she's also going against Sabrina Carpenter, which I don't really know a lot about it, but everybody loves this album apparently. So that's that. As far as rap album of the year, which is, you know, more my lineage, J. Cole Might Delete Later is nominated. I don't understand that because he deleted it later. So I don't really.
Oh, right,
you know,
right.
Eminem is there, but we know why he's there. Common Pete Rock had an album. I didn't hear that.
Oh, that was a good one.
I believe it. You know what? No, I didn't hear it, but my man was just like, "Yo, you got to listen. I got to check it out."
No, let me break you down. On Netflix, there's like a short documentary clip thing with him and Pete Rock about it.
Okay.
A must see.
I like Common being. I went to the Hip Hop 50 in New York at Yankee Stadium. Me and my mom. Best concert in the world. It was like 10-hour concert. Like everybody was there, and Common was one of those people. Like, I appreciate Common just always being there. After that he went to Rock the Bells LL. Like, he is gonna be like, I respect people that appreciate hip hop and gonna, you know, do their job and stay in hip hop shape. For sure. And Pete Rock is Pete Rock, but that We Don't Trust You album, and I'm not even a Future fan like that at all. But that, and I mean, you know, Kendrick did what Kendrick did, you know, like that set the shit ablaze.
Yeah.
There might have been 20 songs on the album, but all we listened to was like that. But that album, I do keep going. I'm like, this is a good damn. Metro was doing his damn thing. Like, I love when a producer is on their shit and Future doesn't mind rapping, singing. Like, he gonna jump out of his bag. I'm really not the biggest Future fan at all. I feel the way about
me neither.
I feel the way about Future you feel about Beyonce.
Sure.
Like, that's how I feel.
Right.
But I could hear good. I'm like, this is good music. Like, the flips, the samples. I'm like, this is.
I heard it was good. Yeah.
So I would if they give it to Eminem, which they said it was a good album. Maybe I'm just over it. I miss beefy Eminem. I miss platinum hair, blonde Eminem. I'm not really the weird beard Eminem. That's not really my lineage right now. But and Doechie's album, I don't know if you know about Doechie, Alligator Bites Never Heal. She's dope and it deserves to be up there. But we'll see. The biggest thing that I'm gonna take away from this, and we can move on. Kendrick Lamar is nominated for a lot of. He has a lot of nominated for Not Like Us. And we do know that Drake had back to back as a Grammy nomination, you know, when he would diss Meek Mill. And I thought that, I'm like, yo, dog, if he get a Grammy off of a diss record, we ain't never seen this before. This is history. And he didn't win it, but the fact that it's nominated alone is crazy. You ain't never see Hit 'Em Up nominated for nothing. You ain't never see Pac get no nomination for Hit 'Em Up.
True.
You know, you don't get those. So you ain't get no Vaseline nominations. Like, that's not something that you're gonna get. But the fact that now and granted, Not Like Us is everywhere. Like, that's everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
Whether you know about that barrage, that couple months was like that was life.
Intense. That was so intense.
That was life.
It was so intense.
Like, that was the best.
That was the everyday conversation. There wasn't a day that went by that the conversation was not being had
at all.
Real talk.
That was the best Cinco de Mayo I ever had. like April to May, like, it was just like fire after fire after fire. Like, I went down to Virginia to see my mom and for Mother's Day, and I'm riding around with her. I just hear the I'm like, oh, you hell out here with it. I love this, man. So I would love for him to get anything. I don't know any of these songs that he's nominated with. I said, like, Beyonce, Texas Hold'em, the Shabuzi Tipsy song. That's it. I don't know no Billie Eilish songs, but she's a media darling, so who knows if she'll win something. And yeah, he got nominated for Record of the Year too. Like, I guess the bigger question is it okay for him to win something with you giving claims of this man being a pedophile and everybody singing to it? Does it matter if it's true or not? Because even at the Super Bowl, they're like, "Yo, is he gonna?" I'm like, he don't gotta play the song for me at all. But
yeah,
people want you to play the song, and I'm like, are you gonna bleep that part out? Because that's a big claim.
It is a big claim, but then but then if that's the case, then you got to go back to a lot of hip hop songs that we've listened to,
right,
that claim a lot of things.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That, we still bump to this day. So, and never really questioned it.
I guess something of this magnitude is different. I think that's the bigger. That's the big. Like. Let me ask you. I mean, you seem like you got your hip hop stomping grounds. Like you. Have you seen anything like this? Like this?
No, not at all. But then Peep Scene, it's a trigger. It's also a trigger because of everything that's going on right now.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So, okay, I could see that being pulled out of it for that reason. It's a trigger. It's topic of conversation right now in so many ways. Yeah. So I could see how it's pulled out of the song like that. But how many other songs have we heard in the past through hip hop that claim a lot of things?
Hey, the LA show, Dr. Dre came out there, still not loving police. He said that. And I'm like, there's evidence of things not getting pulled, and Kendrick don't feel like the person to pull punches. So I mean, I'm excited for it, but this is just like we've been through a loop this year, man. Like it's just been like a barrage of things. And we've never seen anything. I say this magnitude because I mean, of course, you could only as close you could say a Jay-Z Nas, but Nas wasn't Nas at that point like that. Like he's gonna always have his fans, but like he wasn't, and Jay-Z wasn't. Jay-Z was. I mean, he's coming up Blueprint. So I mean, he was probably one of his heights, but right. And then Nas took months to even respond. So I mean, it's a different type of time. This is like Drake is. Drake is Drake, like it's scorching all the time, and Kendrick has the respect from everybody. He's got a Pulitzer, like he has the respect.
But then at the same time, 2024 itself seems like it's the time for things to really be like exposed.
Oh yeah.
So we're getting hit left and right, like without being able to breathe. You know what I'm saying? We're getting hit left and right. So it's almost the time for whatever it is. You know what I mean?
But who started that? That's Cat Williams. Cat Williams scoping it up immediately. Say, you phony, y'all fake. I ain't with y'all. So, this is the time to expose stuff and get rid of the fake. Which I'm with that. I'm with that. I'm with that theme. I'm just like, dog. We over it's a new regime. So only thing I'm not with is people saying that Kendrick is like he's only like famous for this. I'm like, dog, are y'all serious? Like,
for real.
So I don't like that part. But anyway, you are in Arizona. We just talked about Jay-Z's bringing back to New York. How did you get there? How did you go from New York to Arizona? Like, it feels like a big, like, only person I can think about is DMX.
I moved when people, we'll start here. When people hear me talk out here, they think that I just got here. And then I'm like, yeah, but I actually moved here in 89.
Oh, God.
I moved here in 1989. Yeah, I was 12 years old. My mother was actually separating from my father at that time. So I came out here with her so she wasn't by herself. And then ever since I moved out here, because Arizona is such a different place, I never really found home here. So I would go back home. My father's still in New York. And I would go back and live with him and come back and live here and go back. So I did that for many years. before. But my mother actually came to visit Arizona before she moved here, and she fell in love with it. So that was really why I came out here, was because of my mom.
Okay.
But Arizona doesn't do it for me because I'm a city girl, you know. I like convenience. I like the corner store. I like the train. But Arizona doesn't.
So
I mean, we have those things now, but back then we didn't have any of that.
Why are you still there?
My children.
Okay.
Even my mother knows. She even told me, she said, if you didn't have kids, I don't know where you would be right now. Because I could be I would probably be all over the place. I probably wouldn't have an actual like home base because I'm very free spirit. I like to get up when I feel like it. I like to move around when I feel, you know what I mean? But my kids keep me grounded, and I would never take them back to New York to live. So, you know, we visit, like my little ones haven't been there, but me and my oldest, we go back to New York a lot.
Well, I think that's what attracted me to you, is just I could feel the free spirit, and you know, like take me on this journey. Have you always been who you are, or have you gone through your phases, your fads, and like you kind of landed where you landed right now?
I think that I've always been free spirit, but when I was growing up in New York, like I said, I had my mother and father there. I'm the only girl, so my father was very protective of me. So I didn't really get out like I really wanted to while I was in New York, because he was not having that. I grew up in the South Bronx, and that was not happening. You feel me? So it wasn't really until I moved to Arizona where I got a chance to really kind of spread my wings a little bit, because my mom would always tell me, like, as long as you straight up with me, you can do you, just be safe. And so I just kind of went with that. And that's where a lot of my writing came out, and a lot of the performing came out, because my mother just kind of gave me that open door. So I got comfortable in my skin as time went on, but I think I was always free spirit. And I just didn't know how to really articulate it or kind of put it into my, you know, my way of living until I really started to get in front of an audience and start writing.
What is that? What does free spirit mean for you though? Like, is that like, are you anti-religion? Are you, you know, anti-authority system conforming?
No, for me, free spirit is, I mean, being able to live how I want to live. You know what I'm saying? There is structure, there is discipline, there's prayer, there's God, you know, but there's no one way of doing things.
No, correct. I think I asked you that because I think when people hear free spirit, they be like, "Oh, she don't believe in God. She don't believe in."
This, no, not at all.
So
now, granted, I didn't grow up in a home that prayed.
Yeah,
we didn't talk about God.
Yeah,
my father claims to be an atheist.
Yeah,
my mother's a Baptist. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
so
wow.
We never really had those conversations. And when I started writing, it was more about questioning God, questioning love, questioning life, questioning death, you know, and all of that. And I really, really came to more of an understanding of the God within when I started to study with the 5% Nation and the Nation of Islam.
Take me through that journey. Like I always hear it, and I'm just like, what happened there?
So when I was going to school, I was getting my GED at York College in Queens.
Okay.
And I ran up to, you know, I met this brother who just gave me a lot of information, just books. The brothers was just giving me books, just information. And, you know, growing up, Spanish, they were like, my diet changed overnight. My way of being was different. The way I would speak to my brothers and my sisters was different. You know, all of that just seemed to change overnight.
So you were open to this immediately?
Yeah. You know why? Because it answered a lot of my questions. It answered a lot of my questions. I was probably about maybe 17, 18 years old when it happened.
Yeah.
And it was just that for me. You know, my father was against it because I was covered up. You know, I had just an understanding of things. He was against it. No, people are going to hate you. They're going to want to attack you, and all. Never had those experiences. Yeah. Always had positive, you know, conversations. The brothers approached me differently. I was bullied when I was a kid by my sisters, But once I got into understanding myself and our history, I realized a lot of that is embedded. That self-hate, that hate that we have for each other, it's all embedded. So it's like, well, you know, that's my sister, and this is how I'm gonna greet her. I'm not gonna hold her against, you know. So that's how it was. I never actually converted to Islam. I raised my oldest son with the understanding. We read Quran, we did prayer, we did the things we were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? But I also left things open because I know that my children are like borrowed. They're their own people. So they're going to choose their own way at some point. But while they're with me, this is what we're going to do. And, you know, and I'll support you along the way. But that's how it was for me.
Have they ever fought you on anything in that regard?
No.
They're cool with it?
No. Because of the fact that at some point with them growing up, I observe my kids a lot, and I see that, you know, they on their path.
Right.
So it's kind of like, well, you're going to find yours like I found mine. Basically. You know what I mean? And I don't hold it personal because, again, they're here on their own mission. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I hear you. Thank you for opening up and telling me all that stuff, because, like, it's something that, you know, I guess at some point you do just become an individual, and it's like, this is how I feel about things. That's why I was talking to my mom yesterday. And I don't even know how it came up. Just like my mom has always been a fly dresser, you know. My mom and my dad alike, you know. It's like that's what they care about, you know. That's a regime, and I saw that, you know, growing up. My mom would give me all the Sean John, you know. I mean, listen, it's Diddy now, but things have changed. But you know, she gave me the Sean John, the Rockaware, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, everything matching Adidas, everything is, you know, is where it's supposed to be. But, you know, and I mean, you go through your rebellious stage. I'm like, man, I don't care about all that. Like, I'm gonna do my own thing. But I'm like, right. And that's hard for, and I guess you could kind of relate it just, you know, with your kids. But like, it's hard to be like, yo, this person does not care about the things that I care about. It doesn't make them a bad person. It's just like, man, like, it takes a while to get there. Like, my mom just kind of opened about that yesterday. She's like, yeah, you don't care about clothes like that. Like, it's not really. I mean, I care about technology. Like, that's where my money will go to, is technology,
right,
and art, and art and stuff like that. But like, yeah, I'm like, that's your thing. Like, she's a car fanatic. I am not. Like, it's different walks of life. So I mean, you do become your individual at some point, but I think you have to have a household that will allow you to kind of just be free spirited. Like, cause I know people that I guess I'm intrigued by it. Cause I know people that just are stuck in one way, and like, I'm like, do you even believe like this is who you are? Like, I don't even know if you believe that this is who you are. Like, this is who you were told to be. You know, and I think that's like a problem. I mean, for me at least, that's a problem. Like, you got to just be your own individual. You know, like,
for sure.
Like, I love my girl, and I'm happy that she actually opens up to me and tells me, like, you know, about her family and things of that nature. I'm like, I'm happy that you observe things and like you just see like, this is what I want, this is what I don't want, and you make your own decision. Sure. You have your own mind.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
I appreciate that with my children because they let me be me. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I share my world with them. They rock with it, they rock with it. They don't, they don't. You know, like, I used to always have my oldest son with me when I performed, or even when I'm doing hair. He was always there with me.
Yeah.
The twins were always there with me until a certain age. And then they just didn't rock with it. Like, Ma, I don't want to go to a performance or whatever. And I'd be like, all right, you know, I kind of got used to it at first, but then I was like, you know, they're becoming their own people. So, you know, just like I support them, they, you know, they support me.
That's fair. Performance. Yeah. You mentioned performance a couple of times. Like, let's bring it back to these days of performance. I mean, I guess you're still performing. And some.
I am. Thank goodness. Yeah. So I started performing around 9 years old with my father. He was a lead singer of a doo-wop group in New York called the Valentinos.
Okay.
Since he was 17 years old. So I learned about performing on stage watching my dad. I didn't like it. I hated being on stage. I hated it. Oh, I cried every time. But it was like, it was me and my brothers that used to perform with him.
At this point, when you say perform, what are you doing? Or do you actually perform?
I'm singing.
You're singing.
I was singing.
Okay, background.
I was singing oldies. Yeah, okay. No, I was singing like.
Are you in front?
the song.
Okay.
Yes,
All right.
yeah, yeah. And then
You can
he,
still
like I
sing?
said, we grew. I'm sorry,
You can still sing?
in the shower and in the car. Okay.
I respect it.
Where the acoustics is a little different,
Yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah. I
saying?
hear you.
But my mother tells me sometimes when I'm in the house and I'm cleaning or I'm cooking or whatever, I'll sing, and she'll tell me every now and then, she'll be like, "You got a nice voice," and I'm like, "Thank you," but I
Oh.
would never, like, that's just not my thing. So and then I kind of left it alone. My father left us alone with performing and everything, and then I didn't pick it back up until I moved. No, until I was leaving New York from getting my GED. I performed at my graduation, and then I came back to Arizona and started performing again. My spoken word, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then after that, I started hosting and teaching workshops on how to perform on stage, not necessarily how to write
Yeah.
poetry, because I wasn't taught how to write it. I just wrote what was in my heart. You know, people label you. So people would say, "Oh, you're a poet." And I'd be like, "I am." You know what I'm saying? Like, I just write, I just write what's in my heart.
Yeah.
I just write what I feel, And so when I would get into my workshops, I would teach, body language, eye contact, voice projection, because those are the things that I learned. But I never went to a workshop. I never was like taught one-on-one on how to perform.
You consider
I just
yourself
picked it up along the way.
you consider yourself an artist?
Yeah, for sure.
I've seen you've been acting. You've been doing things.
Yeah.
Tell me about the acting life. How was that?
Yeah. So, and it goes back to growing up at home. My father always had a camera in front of us with the family.
So your
family.
father is the one that ignited all this.
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure. Granted, it wasn't something I enjoyed at the time. I just grew into it. But yeah, it started from childhood. And then the woman that wrote and produced the movie I was in, she was doing auditions, and I was friends with her. So I said, "Yo, let me help you with the auditions." She was like, "All right, cool." So I'm helping her with auditions and I'm doing the lead.
Yeah.
And I'm working with the person next to me and everything anyway. So 3 days later, she calls and she's like, "Yeah, I'm doing callbacks." And I was like, "Oh, all right, you want me to help you call some people?" And she's like, "No, I want you to be Nia." And I'm like, "Nia? Like that's the lead? That's what?" I was bugging. That was my first movie.
So what movie is this called? What is this?
It's called Second Chance. It's an
Second
independent
Chance.
film. It was filmed here in Arizona.
Okay. All right.
And we did an opening night in California. She did one in New York, and it was just a great film. 2 hour feature film.
You were nervous?
Believe it or not, no, I wasn't. And when I read that script, I even asked her, I was like, "You looking in my window?" Because this script is a lot about my life. Like, how do you know about all of this? There was a part towards the end of the movie that was a little uncomfortable for me because as much as the movie was so much like my real life, it kind of pivoted, and I hadn't pivoted yet.
Okay.
So it was like I was like really learning how to pivot in the movie as well as my real life. So it connected big time.
When was that?
And then after that, I started acting on stage and doing plays and other short films. So it was fun.
What year was that movie?
Gosh, let me see. My oldest is 25. It was when he was 6 years old. So it's old. It's over 20. It's over like 18 years old.
So early 2000s, we're thinking?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And what's the last movie you did?
The last movie I did, it was actually on Prime, and they just took it down not too long ago. And it was about, I wish I could tell you the name. I always forget the name, but I'll send it over to you if you want.
Yeah, please.
I'm trying to think. It was I can't remember the name of it, but the purpose of the movie was that this cop who was going through PTSD, noticed that this deaf kid, he didn't know he was deaf at the time, was playing with a play gun.
Yeah.
And he ended up killing this kid. So I was in the movie. I was in towards the end. The parents go to this open mic night, and I'm performing. I'm one of the performers on stage in the movie. But that was the last one I was in.
Okay. All right, so it sounds like you brightened up when you talk about acting and stuff like that. Like it sounds like that's something
I
that.
love all of that
What,
because it's the biggest part of me. It's the biggest and best part of me, I think.
are you still active? And like I feel like it's been quiet
I'm
lately.
not as active with the acting, but performing spoken word, yes.
You'll do this.
I just had a show
Okay.
this is Sunday. I just had a show last weekend.
What's the culture in Arizona?
It used to be very active in the poetry scene. Used to be. Now you kind of got to know somebody that knows what's going on in order to know what's going on, because it's so spread out.
Yeah. Listen, I've only been to Arizona one time. Shout out to my cousin. This was years and years ago. I was a kid. It was Christmas and it was hot. And I'm like, I don't like this. Like, I don't like that it's 95 degrees, dry, arid conditions, and it's Christmas Day.
Yes.
So I don't think too much has changed in that regard, but like,
no, not at all.
Like, what's like? Is there a nightlife? Like, I don't like where in Arizona are you? Like, are you close to Phoenix or Albuquerque?
I just recently moved to the Glendale area, but I've been in Phoenix for all the time I was here.
Okay.
And is there a nightlife? Arizona is building, and
I've heard.
it's trying to be something. But I'm going to tell you, a lot of the life out here for me in Arizona are the different people that are moving here.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like
how Florida. It's like how New York took over Florida.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if there's something going on, probably the person running it is not from here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay. Probably from Detroit. They're probably from Chicago. Because anybody who comes here from another state like that is looking for home.
Yeah.
But
only thing I think
Arizona is so spread out, you know.
And I mean, this is outside looking in. The only thing I think of is like I just remember the days of DMX going to Arizona and just like, and just kind of
used to live out here.
Yeah, finding tranquility, finding peace, and just like that was like his happy place, for a little while.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I wonder just like a good like just an oasis of like just like to be and probably feel less pressure. Because I'll tell you, and I've been feeling this way for a while. I told my girl the other day, I'm just like, I'll be honest, I enjoy this. I love, I love learning about new people and learning about and talking to new people and just like different walks of life. I watch so much crap, reality. Not let me not say not a lot of crap, but just like the dating shows, like the Love Is Blind and stuff like that. Not for like this is a Casablanca of a thing. It's just like I like to analyze people, whether it's real or fake. I just like to analyze different events, I'm like, okay, this person thinks like this. I'm like, okay, that's why you feel that way. And it's like those things. So I feel like, where was I going with that? I don't know. I feel like, going there would just kind of give you like a sense of self, just kind of like to chill and relax. And I think this is where I was going with it. Like, I think I'm just tired of the rat race. And like, that sort of feels like in cities. I mean, I'm in South Jersey. I'm not in the hustle and bustle of Jersey. Jersey's Jersey, but North Jersey is different.
I know.
It's a different thing. It's traffic. It's congested. I was there for 13 years of my life. Like it's different. And so I'm always appreciative when I come back down here. I'm like, I could actually drive on an open road. I could find a park easy.
Right.
Little things like that. So I mean, I know that just changes even drastically going, more west.
West.
But I'm like New York, Philly, like it's just like a rat race kind of mentality. Even just social media is New York. Like just social media just feels like you got to be doing something. You got to, keep moving. It's like I want to just live. I just want to enjoy. I just want to, be peace. I just care about peace. I don't, I'm just, the rat race is just like, I've been feeling that like a lot more internally now. I don't know where that would bring me, but I'm just like, I don't have that same, I'm like, I don't want to just be just going 100 miles per hour. Just like,
I feel you.
Oh, what are we doing? Like, what are we here for? So.
Like I said, I lived all my years in Phoenix. Just this year, June, me and the children, I moved them further north a little bit more, maybe about 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
And it's not a barren area. It's definitely busy, but it's not like Phoenix busy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit more open. It's a little bit more quiet. You know what I'm saying? I can actually tell my son. Yeah, I can tell my son, like, go ahead. You want to go outside? Go ahead, go outside. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can do that with them. Arizona has a place called Sedona.
Okay.
Which a lot of people go to when they want that, you know, that meditation time and the vortex and the energy and the connection. They want all of that. They go up to Sedona to do that. A lot of people hike out here, up in the mountains. And so you have those pockets, you have those opportunities here to do that. But Arizona is definitely becoming busier, or should I say Phoenix? I'll say Phoenix is becoming more busier. And for me, who's like you, ready to like kind of come out of that, you have to find your areas where you're like, yo, I don't mind the city, but I want to go when I feel like going. Because I don't want to be in it every day. I'll go when I need to go. You know what I'm saying?
And some things just come from, you know, you're growing up. Like, you know, I grew up in New Jersey, place called Pagoda, down the street from Hackensack, basically, and Teaneck and all that stuff. And you know, the city's right there. The city is a hopscotch jump away, you know. But like, so I've always liked that, just the idea of like being close to something but not being in it. It's like I could be away. I could go there when I want to. I could go party, have a good time. I go right back home to peace and tranquility.
Exactly.
We just, you know, me and my girl just came back from Denver. I've been there a couple times, and
Denver's one of my favorite places.
And I'm wondering, I'm like, why do I like it out here so much? Like, I do appreciate it. I don't know about living, because sometimes it does feel a little barren, but I'm like,
sure.
I do like the open space. I like the mountains. I like to chill. Like, even me and my girl driving around, she's like, I feel safe out here. Like, I could just like walk around, whatever. And I'm like, and of course, my pessimistic mind is like, I hear what you're saying. Like, I am also feeling of that feeling, but also I'm like, I hate that I remember so much. I'm like, well, Columbine was out here, and and then I'm like, well, Charles. I'm like, Charles Manson. No, not Charles Manson. Not Charles Manson. Ted Bundy. I'm like, Ted Bundy escaped out here in Colorado. I'm like, well, then the Batman shooting happened.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like, damn. Then like the Hilary Swank movie, after Boys Don't Cry. I'm like, that was out here. I'm like, yo, it's like. A lot of things happen. I mean, it wasn't us. It wasn't of, you know, our pigmentation. No, for sure. But I'm just like, you know, but I understand what you mean. I'm just like, just feeling safe. You don't feel like to get mugged every 2 seconds, or like, you know.
And don't get me wrong, you're gonna have your drama no matter where you go. Of course. Know what I'm saying? But even like people will ask me, will you ever go back to New York to live? And I'm like, no. But if I had the money, I would move outside of the city. I wouldn't even be in the city.
What's outside?
Point,
like Yonkers?
I'm not the one for the. Even when I go home, I might visit maybe a week. New York might get a week out of me.
Okay.
After that, I'm like, okay, you too close. It's too loud.
Y'all living on top of each other.
I need to go.
Yeah, living on top of each other. Is everything's packed in.
I'm over it. I
think the moment I realized, like, you know, the brain is powerful. Like, I think the moment I realized that everything is stacked up, like they're building up because like you don't got space.
Right.
Yeah, that messes with you a little bit. Like, no, what is? I don't understand. I mean, you know, years ago, everybody was like, "Yo, move to North Carolina, move to Georgia, move to places like, you know, you get more bang for your buck." Is, you know, and even Charlotte become, you know, a little more busy and stuff like that.
For sure.
You know, but yeah, you come to that realization of like, what are we doing? And I think that's kind of where I've been lately. You know, my friend is asking a lot of questions. We just been my close friend group. We just been asking a lot of questions. I'm just like, yo, what are we like? We gotta find a business. Like, we gotta find other ways to do things. There's other ways to make money. There's other way. Like, the 9 to 5 is not for a lot of people.
For sure.
I've been stuck in it for 10 years, but I'm like, I'm just, and like, the thing is, I have a house, I have bills, you got things to pay for. So I mean, you know, you gotta make the right decision. But it's like, you gotta always have you can't just be accepting of it. It's like, it gotta be a mind of like, okay, this is for now.
Past that.
This is temporary. Yeah. That's been my motto my whole life. Everything is temporary, but like, you know, this will pass. Like, you gotta find a way to find something else. I'm like, So I guess this is
You're
why
right.
all this is therapy. All this is therapy. All I do is talk to people, try
No,
to get
yeah,
a better sense of stuff of like what to do next. And
sure,
there might not be an immediate answer. And I think people want an immediate answer. I'm like, it's not
right,
like that, you know. So
right.
so I let me
I
talk.
was
Thank you for
working
talking. Let me talk my
for
piece.
when I decided to my first uh, uh, m- what is it called? What is it called? Brick and mortar. When I was
Okay.
doing hair,
Okay.
when I was first looking into getting my own place because I was doing it from home, I went back to corporate, which is not part of my makeup. I understand people do it. I am not knocking it for those that do it. Please, please, I want that to be completely understood.
Oh, we gonna go
But it
deeper.
is
It's
not
okay.
part of my makeup. When I did decide to go back though, I had the mindset of, okay, if I'm gonna go back and do this, it's gonna work for me instead of me feeling like I'm working for it.
Yes. Yes.
And then once I went into it, I started to have that goal of by June 1st, I'm going to sign my papers into my brick and mortar and I'm out. And that's exactly how it played out. Every day, every check that came, I invested a little bit more into the idea, made some changes, blah, 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 blah. June 1st, I was out, made my papers, I was out.
Mm-hmm.
Did I struggle? I had my challenges. I had my ups and downs. Why? Because I didn't have a check that was coming in every week or every 2 weeks. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm used to living that way because I'm not going there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I just went with it, but you do have to have a certain mindset that you just have to have something else. You know what I mean? And not just something else, but something that calls you.
Something that makes you feel good.
Something that calls
yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Like when you were talking about how you've been feeling lately about like you don't want to constantly be on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like that's calling you. Whatever it means, whether it means a short travel somewhere or you know what I mean? Or
like
a road
when we went
trip
to
or something like that.
That's one thing I want to do for sure. Just drive across the country, just like that's my biggest therapy. I love driving.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite things to do.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Me and I think that's probably like our family, but at least me and my mom and my grandfather. Like I feel like that's that's the quick line of like we love to drive. There's nothing for us. Listen to a podcast. We'll listen to some music. We good. That's no problem for me. And I felt that way in Colorado. I'm like, this is a getaway. I feel like I'm getting away. And I'm I need to like tap into more of that and just try to like really feel all of that because it shouldn't be temporary.
For sure.
The finest part of your week should not be the weekend. Like I'm just kind of like over that kind of like, all right, you bust your ass for 5 days, then you got the week. It's like this math ain't mathing. This don't really feel people dying left and right. We lost a lot of people this year. A lot of people this year, whether you know them or not. Like it's a lot of people that are not making it to 60. So. So I mean, I think about all that mortality and all kind of stuff like that, and you said from the beginning, let's not get serious, but we could get serious. Like this is
for sure.
Life is life.
Yeah,
Life is multifaceted.
Life is life.
We could be laughing 1 minute, we could be mad at Mike Tyson, we could love Mike Tyson, we could all the things are all the things. And that being said, where is it gonna go next? Man. I want to ask you about something, but I feel like you never watched it. The Penguin.
The Penguin?
Yeah.
What's the Penguin?
So Batman.
Okay.
And the Penguin. Have you watched Batman ever in your life? Have you watched like 1989 Michael Keaton Batman?
Not really. I'll be honest. Not really.
Dark.
I know who the Penguin is, though.
Yeah,
I know who the Penguin is.
Yeah. So there's a Colin Farrell is Phone Booth.
No.
I'm trying to think what else he was in. SWAT, Phone Booth. But great actor. They just did so basically HBO, they have an adaptation of a drama series, based around the Penguin. Everything is live action now. they did a movie a couple years ago with Robert Pattinson, the new Batman, with Zoe Kravitz, and her terrible
Okay.
acting, and you know they listen, beautiful woman, but anyway,
I was just gonna say, you're not feeling Zoe for real?
her
No, and
looks.
just not for that role.
I liked her in Dope. Dope was cool. I liked her in that movie for 2 seconds, but like I just don't think she's the strongest actress. And like I got
Okay.
that she did a reboot of the High Fidelity movie, the TV show that got canceled.
Mhm.
So I mean, the writings in the you fine though. I mean, listen, unfortunately, fortunately, women, you always gonna have that card to play. Like.
Sure.
We are simple-minded human beings. If you find, you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it far. So, but anyway, and she was with Shannon Tatum. That was weird. But anyway, they did a whole movie, and Colin Farrell played the Penguin in that movie. Real quick character. He's like he made himself like you wouldn't even know it was him. Like if you know who this is, you would even know. I'll put this side by side. I'll send you to him. I'm like, he did like 4 hours of makeup. You don't know, you don't even know who that person is. I mentioned it because like the acting, it just finished the first season. The acting is phenomenal, and people that I haven't been known before. Okay. And I'm just like, this y'all are acting like this is like really. And it's funny. I listened to this other pod, or whatever, and they were like, I feel like the story is getting lost almost because the acting's so damn good. And I'm like, damn, that's a
you get caught up.
That's a luxury problem to have. You know what I mean? So, but they
get caught up in.
Yeah, sure. but they just finished it. I won't, drag it. But like, man, that was one of the best. That was like top 5 first seasons that I've seen on TV in a long time.
Okay.
And it's worth watching. Whether you care about, this is DC, I guess, not Marvel, but like whether you care about DC. Super like ain't no superhero nothing like this is just it's basically it's basically the Sopranos in Gotham. Like that's basically what it is. And they put on the clinic. His mom is put on the clinic. He is acting his ass off, and the antagonist, the woman, like it's people I've never seen before. I would definitely. I would definitely suggest watching it if you ever watched it. But it's 8 episodes, 8 hours of your life is worth it. But anyway, that just wrapped up, and I had to talk about that because that was just an amazing show. I'm like, I'm happy they're gonna do another season, and Colin, I'm just saying this because, especially with the Grammys and like awards and stuff like that, Oscars wise, they deserve. Well, I guess it wouldn't be Oscars; it'll be Emmys, but they deserve awards, all of them. Before we get out of here, I had something else I want to talk to you about. Well, healing practices. What are healing practices for you? Like I feel like you take a lot of self-care of yourself. You be moisturizing them feet. I see you. I'm gonna tell y'all a story. Y'all already know me, and my mom and my girlfriend knows me. She's like, you like feet. I was like, I'm like, I do, man. But I'm like, I like the anatomy of a woman. I just like women. I like I feel like y'all are art. I feel like y'all are beautiful. Like I feel like it's just a different feeling, and it's hard to express that and not say it in a creepy way because it's far from it. But I understand the world is the world. But I'm just like, dog, y'all are just like beautiful. I could just like seeing y'all. Like y'all are, I could put a case around y'all. Like y'all are just beautiful creatures. And for some reason, and we talked about it. One of our first. That was like a temperature check a little bit.
Yeah, that's right.
Because like listen, I'm no stranger to. I observe before I say words, but I'm just like. I'm like, she keep posting feet up on her picture. Like, what's going? I'm trying to figure out what life is like. It don't seem like no OnlyFans nothing. When I'm like, it's interesting, So I asked her like lightly, tried to. I was just like, yo, man, hey, what's up with the pinky toes and the and all that in the and
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and I mean your story was similar to my thinking. I'm just like I just feel like, for me at least, I try to tell people and they laugh at me, but I'm just like, you know, I just look at feet. It's just like it looks like innocent to me. Like it's like an innocence
Yeah.
of just like a freeing feeling of just like it just feels like elegant almost. It's like I'm not tied up. I'm just it presents something of like just of youthfulness, of happiness, and you know your story was similar in the fact of you feel like it tells a story. You know, so I mean, tell me about
Yeah.
that interaction or how you felt about me asking you about feet.
First of all, believe it or not, I'm not sure how I mentioned this to you, but I started to take pictures of my shoes.
Yeah.
I do photography as well.
Okay.
So I was sitting one day and I had my black boots on, and boom, I took a picture and I black and whited it. And, you know, I did the whole thing. I framed it, put it in my house and everything. Then I did a photo shoot with this brother with a guitar, and I did his shoes too. It was, for me, I just kind of felt like, why wouldn't I take pictures like that? I was thinking, I was like, feet tell a story.
Yeah.
They take me throughout my day. You know what I mean?
Very
and then
true.
Once I got into self-care and I started really paying attention to what I put on my body, and I was doing the shea butter and everything, the shea butter came later, but then I started taking pictures of my feet just out of nowhere. Just, I'm chilling. So here's what I look like. You know what I mean? And then it wasn't until like brothers was like, yo. And I was like, yo, like my feet? Are you serious? I really, honestly, none of it was put out there for that type of attention.
Of course not.
Me?
But
it was
you know,
really just to tell a story.
But I know it came.
It came.
How did you deal with it?
And it got very interesting.
Yeah.
But then I was like, well, then if that's the case, let me show you what this shea butter do. And then, you know, and then I started to show it and me putting it on my feet and everything. But even with that, I never want to leave anybody, or even people that see my work, I never want to leave them in a lower state, because sometimes it can come off like an OnlyFans, where
okay.
you understand,
yeah.
Where it's more like, you know, she's either doing it for attention or for money or this and that.
Yeah.
No, actually, what I do is on purpose, and that's why I always might do a voiceover, or I might share a thought, because the balance is necessary. Like, I'm never there to keep you on your lower, you know what I'm saying? So now when brothers do hit me up about it, I laugh at them. I send them over to my private feet page. And then I'm like, you want to see feet? I'll show you feet. Yeah. It's private, but I'll show it to you. But if you really want balance and you really want sincerity and my real art, then you stay here and you hear what I have to say, you know?
True. Interpretation is something. People interpret things how they want to interpret them, you know, whether you tell them the truth or not, they're going to pick up how they want to pick up. So, I mean, you guys got to weed all that stuff out. But here's something I'm like, I'm a pretty smart man. I'm a little intuitive. Like, I'm like, that ain't what it is. So I'm like something there's more to it. That's probably why I started talking to you. I'm like, yo, there's more story here. Like, there's something not being told, you know.
And I appreciate that. And that's the other part about the men that do hit me up, is that they first come off a little bit to the left, but I don't entertain that part of them. You understand what I'm saying?
And there's a lane where I could have been timid and scared to even say anything, but you understand your personality breathes on the lens as well. Like, you know, if you weren't who you were, I probably would have been like, I ain't gonna say nothing. Like, it's you know, she gonna act like I'm a weirdo.
No,
or something
I
like
appreciate the reaching out, and I'd rather you have a conversation with me than to assume anything.
Exactly, and that is my makeup in a in a nutshell. Like, you know, to bring it back to my mom, I didn't bring it up, but to bring it back to my mom, talking about like how fly and fresh to death she is in clothes, and like realizing that I don't really care about it. And I'm like, and back in my head, I'm like, I don't want you to ever assume anything about me. You know, real. Like, yeah, I understand looking nice and dressing nice. All that is fine and well. I have no qualms about that whatsoever. But I'm just like, I want you to be like, though, I could be a billionaire. You have no idea.
Yeah, you have no idea.
No idea what I'm capable of. I tell people in the street all the time, like I'm not a big fighter or anything like that. Whatever, like I'm a lover, not a fighter. I've been good my whole life. I ain't got nobody bullied me. I'm sorry for your past, but I've been cool, and I'm part of it is protecting yourself. I'm like, I remember having my conversation with my coworker years ago. The only other black guy that was with me at the time, and we're two different black people. And he was like, "Yeah, man, people approach me in the street and just talk. I'm just nice and talk." I'm like, "What? They approach you in the street? Like you got? I'm not saying I have a me mug, but like nobody knows what you're capable of until you say words. Like you got to protect yourself at all times. Like I remember going to this concert and some white boys was like, "Yo, can we get a jump, whatever?" And I wasn't driving with my man, but I'm like, I'm quiet. I don't know what they could do. And maybe that's just a Northeast mentality of just like, yo, you got to just keep your head on a swivel, make sure you good. Like, we just talking about Philly, and I'm just like, you feel safe? I'm like, I told my mom, like, you feel safe in Philly? She's like, yeah. I'm like, you're oblivious because ain't no way you just feel safe. Like, so I mean,
right.
You just gotta be on your dean, man. You just gotta be sharp and pay attention.
At all times.
But I pay attention to everything. So I pay attention to you. I'm like, man, something's here, man, and I appreciate it. I'm like, I mean, this feels nice. I'm like, your nails is always done.
Yeah.
your nails is always did up. I'm like, it just feels nice and warm. I'm like, I'm happy here.
I'm glad. I'm so glad. No, you don't know. That really means a lot to me because it's already hard to feel connection online with some people or some platforms.
Yeah.
And that really makes me feel good because I was telling this to myself earlier before we got on. I was getting nervous, right? And then I said to myself, but if you've been keeping it real, you got nothing to worry about.
Keep it real.
And that's exactly how I may have my nervousness, but I look at it as excitement because, I'm just channeling, But I would like to go back when you asked me about healing.
Yes.
And
bring it back
I wanted to kind of share with you. I'll just tell you how I got to this point.
Please.
When my youngest son's father and I separated, it was a moment that I realized that I had been repeating a cycle. And from that point, I started going into shadow work.
Yeah.
So I started to revisit a lot of things that I never really thought about revisiting before, like I felt like was necessary. And that is, from that point until now, is all I do, is a lot of reflection. So before I even react, even if seems like that person's done something wrong or said something wrong, I always look back like, okay, why did that trigger me? What's going on with me? Yeah. What happened to me that would bother me? You understand what I'm saying? So in all of that is a lot of healing. I still do my writing every morning, 4:30, 5:30 when I wake up. I do my writing before I even get out of the bed. And a lot of it is just listening to the creator talk to me and get me ready for my day. So there's healing in everything that I do, but it really started with shadow work. It really did. A lot of reading and a lot of application. But I wanted to make sure I addressed that because it's just necessary. Yeah. It's none of this, none of how you feel on my page, none of how you feel when we speak, none of that. Healing has nothing to do. Healing has everything to do with everything that I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, to bring it back to nervousness, like I'm always gonna be nervous a little bit. That's just kind of how you talking to somebody brand new, whether it's new or whatever. Like, how are people gonna receive this and stuff like that? I mean, I say all the time, like, just to even be a podcaster, you have to just. My mom listens to everything I do, like, and I talk about a lot of different things. And some of the stuff may be raunchy sometimes, and cursing and all kind of stuff, whatever. But like, you have to have some kind of you have. Oblivious, maybe not the word, but just kind of, you just have to ignore a lot of stuff just to even present yourself, just to move forward.
Yeah.
And I guess I asked you all this question because I say what I said because all of this is healing. Everything I think that's I'm in a moment of just like of growth. Everything is just to be a better person and just like to recognize it. I just went to I went to my homecoming a couple weeks ago, and it was like my third time going over there. I told my people, I'm like, we got to bring us there because we don't know none of them niggas.
For sure.
like we've been out of school since 2010, 2011. We don't know them. So and I can't be there that long because I'm like, man, all the stuff we paid for, look at all the stuff that we got that they got that we didn't have. Like we was in the trenches.
Right.
But my point is, we were walking around. I'm with my group of friends. We see some people that we have some disdain for, and I'm like, I don't know if I will be able to handle this 10 years ago. And I'm like, I'll dab you up. It means nothing to me. I'm like, hey, what's up? Keep it moving. There's nothing for us to talk about. We don't gotta, we know,
right?
Even if we don't know the specific issues that we had, I just know your behavior doesn't coincide with my behavior. And at this point in my life, I could see that superpower of just like, I ain't got no beef with you. I ain't got no problem with you.
I'm good, right?
I hope you prosper, all the things, live your life. Hope you go to the mountaintop. But I'm cool. I'm cool, man. Like this is kind of how life is. I'm not holding nothing.
You get to the point where you kind of learn how to position people properly in your life.
Yes.
It's not and here's the other part. And I'll just give it this example. Like if you know somebody super close and you're realizing that, your path is not my path, how you move is not how I move, it's not working. It's not even that you don't really have anything for me. It's just that I'm going to need you over there because you're not working right here. So I need you over there. I just need you over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying you got to be invisible. I'm just saying that you being right here is not helping me. So you just learn how to position people properly, and not only that, you learn how to position yourself.
Now, I'm 1,000% with you. Does that get difficult when it's family?
Of course, it does. But I'm gonna be very honest with you. Go ahead. If you really doing the work, it becomes easier.
Yeah.
If you're really doing the work, it becomes easier because you actually start realizing that family is not always blood. You also realize that when you are shifting and moving in life, you start to draw in different family, different village, your play cousins and things like that. And that for you is more bonding than what you've grown up to think is where you're supposed to be. You know what I mean? Even family don't want to grow. Even family don't want to make moves. And it's like, damn, but I don't want to leave you behind. But it's like, but I don't want to go. Yeah. So what you gonna do? Not go? You gotta go.
I drive myself crazy and try to pull you with me to where I am, or let you go?
No.
And that's a hard pill to swallow. But I think sometimes you got to get there. Like
it is hard.
I recognize in myself. I'm like, I see that I'm abstaining from some people. And I'm like, why am I doing that? And I'm like, I'm doing it because you make me feel a different way that I don't want to.
Yeah. You talk a whole nother language now. You vibing off a whole nother frequency now. Yes.
Language.
Yes. And it's not for you to help them understand that. It's you either understand it or you don't. But while you're figuring it out, I gotta go over here. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's tough, but
and while we go over here, I think we'll just leave it there.
Okay.
I think that's a way to wrap it up. I appreciate all your time and all your openness and all your candidness.
I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be on. This was fun.
Yeah, I'm happy you enjoyed yourself. I mean, I know I'm a talkative person. I will talk you under the ground.
It's okay. Yeah.
But I'm happy you opened up and I'm able to share that time with you, and hopefully people got some that is this podcast at this point, I care 25% about pop culture. 75% I do not care. It's like, though, we living our lives and trying to figure things out. We learning things from other people. It takes a village. I say that all the time to my girlfriend. It takes a village. Like, this is not a one.
It does.
And no matter if that's family, friends, play cousins, like you said, it takes a village to understand one another and try to figure out how to move on. Because, life is hard, man. It's not easy. We all need people. We all need to, hear different things in different walks of life. So I appreciate you, sharing me through your journey and sharing that with the people. And on that note, guys, been episode 304. It's Man Styles, aka Styles, Baby Look, came out to Merlot Styles, my bad, quarantine, some of the Styles. Styles I like, Black, fall back, that winter time is winter time. Pressure cooker Styles, Sock Daddy, Audio Style, North Carolina Files, and man, Divine Valentine.
Yes.
Say goodbye to people. Say where they can catch you at if you care to be caught.
All right. I'm on Instagram at BX5Girl. I'm also on TikTok at BX5Girl. That's probably the best place for you to contact me and just say what's up. That's all.
Where can we get the spoken word?
BX5Girl. BX5Girl, because my plan is actually to share more online. Because I know that I'm not catching everybody when I'm performing out, locally.
Yeah.
So it would be, I have some of my work on my page too, but you'll see more.
Hey, you touched me and I'm 1,000 miles away. So it makes sense. So, just keep doing what you're doing. Interact with people is helpful. It makes people feel close sometimes.
I'm glad.
So
yeah,
thank you, appreciate you.
You're welcome.
Guys.
Have a great one.
Enjoy. Blah.